After losing her memory, the female celebrity was required by the show to identify people via phone. The guests before were all common people. Then it was my turn. Her eyes lit up. "You're my husband." The guest was dumbfounded, and netizens were in an uproar. I'm a rising actor in the entertainment industry recently. I received an invitation to participate in a hot program, but I didn't want to go because the highlight of this program was the famous celebrity, Lily, and she hated me. Everyone knew this. On the red carpet, she always avoided me at events. She liked to go against me. Netizens speculated that the reason was because I once commented in front of the camera that she didn't have a standard figure. Only I knew she hated me because I had dumped her. It's really petty. My manager, Kane, holding the documents, emphasized again, Lily recently had an accident and lost her memory. Her personality has changed a lot, and she won't target you anymore. I lay sprawled on the sofa. What does it have to do with me? The manager flipped another page of the document, pointed to the final remuneration, and said, "I heard that now she's a bit silly, and anyone can bully her." I moved closer and counted the zeros in the remuneration. I immediately decided to participate, not for the money, but to see how silly Lily was now. Sure enough, when the guest list was announced, it caused a huge stir. Am I seeing things? Ethan and Lily, who are always at odds, are in the same frame. This show really knows how to create buzz. I can't even imagine the tense atmosphere on set. Ethan hasn't been active for a long time. He must want to ride on her coattails to become famous. Doesn't he know Lily hates seeing him? Huh. Lily is appearing for the first time after her accident, and it's with Ethan. Who's riding on whose coattails is still uncertain. Fans on both sides argued fiercely, and the heat increased. The program organizers happily supported it, even fueling the flames by editing a video of us glaring at each other and adding the caption, "This time, they will create sparks." What is it? Everyone remember to watch at 8 p.m. on Friday. The program started that day. As soon as I entered, I saw Lily sitting upright at the table. Before, every time she saw me, she would coldly snort and turn her face away. This time, she actually stood up to greet me and even smiled at me. Goosebumps all over my body. My best friend, Kane, enthusiastically led me over there. "Everyone is here. Let's get to know each other first. I'm temporarily in charge of the first part of the introductions." He looked towards Lily. "I heard that Lily had an accident and lost her memory. I don't know if she still remembers us." As soon as this sentence was spoken, netizens were in an uproar because the news of Lily's amnesia had never been confirmed. Those who had doubted were stunned. Really lost her memory? No wonder she's so enthusiastic towards Ethan. Smiling and nodding in greeting, I also found it strange. I was just about to pull the program director aside to ask if there was a script when I realized she really didn't recognize me. In everyone's expectant eyes, Lily shook her head. "Sorry, everyone. The doctor said it will take time to recover. We can get to know each other again." The sidekick actor pretended to be surprised. "Lily, do you still remember me? We just added each other on WeChat yesterday." Lily was stunned, took out her phone, flipped through it, and then realized, "You are Dean. Don't mind creating drama. I hope to cooperate happily." She was serious and dedicated to her career. Dean's face immediately turned red. "Lily, you record notes for everyone like this?" Lily smiled. "This is convenient for recognizing netizens. I add friends and record confirmation information in the notes." Ha ha, laughing to death. "Oh my God. Haha. Dean, I'm really shocked." I almost fell when I saw Dean's embarrassment. So this is what he's like behind the scenes. Seeing the discussion volume soar, the program suddenly added a new segment, asking Lily to compare the notes in her phone about each guest. Lily happily accepted. "You are Lisa, December 8th. There's a new movie to promote. You are Peter, a stage play singer, too slow." She checked each person one by one, like she was checking roll call for soldiers. For the guests before, some were flustered, and some were embarrassed. Almost everyone was sweating and secretly glanced at me to reassure themselves. Because Lily used to hate me so much, she certainly wouldn't have good notes about me. No matter how harsh their notes were, I would definitely be even more embarrassed. Everyone was looking forward to Lily publicly announcing the notes about me. But when she walked in front of me, looked at her phone, and then looked at me, her eyes suddenly lit up. "You are my husband." My confident and challenging gaze instantly froze. "What? I can't believe it. Look at her. What did you just say?" She repeated seriously. I said you are my husband. The notes say husband. Her voice was very gentle and proud, pointing to the phone screen for me to see. Only then did I see two bright red hearts next to my profile picture, with the word husband prominently in the middle. The surrounding guests who were about to interject were all stunned. Lily completely didn't notice and bowed her head and smiled at me shyly. No wonder my heart beats so fast every time I see you. It turns out you are my husband. Netizens, am I crazy or is Lily crazy? She noted Ethan as husband. Are they married? They used to hate each other so much. Could it be a married couple who want to avoid public attention? No way. Didn't everyone see Ethan's stunned face? He clearly didn't know anything. Maybe Lily is in unrequited love and turned to hate because she couldn't get him. While everyone was still confused, Lily circled around the crowd and deliberately sat down next to me. I have to sit next to my husband. Looking at her smiling face close at hand, I finally woke up from the huge shock. No, 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 you're mistaken. I'm not your husband. I immediately pushed Lily away. She was stunned. Her beautiful eyes flashed with incomprehension. But after thinking for only a few seconds, she suddenly seemed to understand. Then she leaned close to my ear and whispered softly, Honey, we haven't gone public yet, right? Her ears were slightly red. It's my fault, sorry. It's not about that. What is it about? I leaned further away, keeping a distance from her. It's not that we really have no relationship. You used to hate me very much. Have you forgotten? Hearing what I said, she frowned and firmly refuted, Impossible. Memory can change, but habits don't change, and heartbeats don't change. Every time I meet you, I feel happy and my heart beats faster. How could I hate you? The more she spoke, the more interested she seemed. The surrounding guests all had faces full of gossip and anticipation. If we continued to argue, who knew what shocking thing she would say next? This was a live broadcast program. I quickly interrupted. Okay, let's not talk about it anymore. Let's not talk about it anymore. Think whatever you want. Lily saw me being perfunctory and gave a sad smile. She pursed her lips, her eyes slightly red, but didn't say anything more. Netizens, are my eyes playing tricks on me? I really see Lily about to cry. Who can understand? Lily used to fall from a high place on set, and she didn't even frown. Now, just being said a few words by Ethan, she's sad as if she's about to cry. I don't think she's pretending. Could it be that she really hated because of love before? I originally just wanted to watch Lily make a fool of herself. Who knew she would turn out like this? The program organizers obviously didn't expect such a big drama either. Dozens of cameras were all aimed at me and Lily. In Lily's sad eyes, I couldn't sit still. It was hard to finally reach the midday break in filming. I pulled Lily to a corner, took out my phone, and showed her the videos of us glaring at each other. See? How much did you hate me before? Lily watched each video. Her face gradually filled with incomprehension. How could this be? I patted her shoulder. The evidence is right in front of you. Memory can deceive, but glaring eyes don't. Lily still couldn't accept it. She fast-forwarded and rewound the videos. Is this maliciously edited footage? She kept asking, repeating it over and over. It made me annoyed. I said impatiently in a low voice, No, this is live broadcast at the studio. She froze, slumped down, bewildered, with tears in her eyes. I wondered. I didn't lie. I just told her the truth. Why did it make me feel so guilty? Forget it. Let her think whatever she wants. I ignored her and went back to my seat. Kane saw my frowning face, then looked at Lily trailing behind with a depressed and dejected expression. Kane immediately pulled me aside. Ethan, are you stupid? I looked at him blankly, not understanding. Did you scold her? You rolled your eyes at her. Look carefully. I'll only demonstrate once. I still didn't understand what he was trying to say. Kane winked at me, then walked towards Lily. This is the first time we've met since the accident, right? Lily nodded unconsciously. Kane continued. Our relationship is like this. Last time you talked to Director Shaw about the new movie, you said you would arrange a role for me and Ethan. You haven't forgotten that, have you? I widened my eyes. Director Shaw was a famous director in the film industry. Almost every time, his films won awards. Many people in the industry wanted to work with him, but his eye for talent was very critical. Only Lily had cooperated with him many times. How could Kane say this? Lily was stunned, glanced at me, then nodded blankly. Not forgotten. I'll contact Director Shaw later. Kane patted her shoulder. You're really righteous. I stood behind, dumbfounded. Can it be done like this? Before I could say anything else, the program quickly started filming. The first game was a quick question and answer session. The higher the score, the more tokens you would get for lunch to buy food. Hearing that it was related to lunch, I immediately became determined, but the first question was, how many people have you ever loved? I instantly froze. In a short moment, my mind was full of images of Lily, but I couldn't say a word. In the end, I skipped it. It was Lily's turn. Considering her amnesia, the program team tactfully changed the question to, among the male guests, who gives you the best impression at the scene? Lily almost without hesitation. Ethan. Okay. Letting her play this game was really cheating. Because Lily didn't know anyone, she didn't need to think at all. She seriously answered each question one by one. In the end, she won gloriously with the maximum score. Lily received 1,000 tokens, while I didn't even have 100. During lunch, she could almost buy all the food, while I just stood and watched, only buying a bowl of millet porridge with pickled vegetables. When I was standing there with a miserable face, I saw Kane gesturing to me. Following his gaze, Lily was carefully choosing her lunch. Then looking back at the bowl of pickled vegetables in front of me, I suddenly had an idea. Anyway, she thought I was her husband. I patted Lily's shoulder. When she turned to look at me, I bit my lip and pretended to be pitiful. Lily, I really want to eat that Boston lobster. She was stunned, flustered, and rummaged through all the tokens in her pocket, handing them all to me. Okay, let me buy you a portion. I looked at her with sparkling eyes, nodded, and said with tearful gratitude, You're so kind. Lily scratched her head in confusion. Do you want to eat anything else? I pretended to hesitate, but those are all spicy dishes. I like. No, it's not good. She pulled me behind her, resolutely. Mine is also yours. She stuffed all the tokens into my hand. Take them all if you like. I stared blankly at her. Could it be that the accident really caused her brain damage? Netizens burst into laughter. Ethan looks like a gold digger. Lily, you dare to give it all. You should at least keep a bowl of plain porridge for yourself. She completely forgot that an hour ago, Ethan still disdained her. Just saying a few words, and she's happily like a fool. She probably doesn't realize that people just want to scam food and drinks. She probably doesn't even remember who Ethan is now. Brain-damaged love list updated immediately. Lily is number 1. Thanks to Lily's generosity, I ate my fill. Lunch also conveniently provided for Kane to freeload. Because the microphone went into the water, all the guests removed their microphones during lunch. Kane peeled shrimp while talking nonstop. Your lunch is really good. I quickly covered his mouth and lowered my voice. Don't let her hear. Lily is like an idiot now, but if she remembers, who knows how she will take revenge. Kane didn't care and waved his hand. It's okay. She used to target you like that. Now, taking advantage of her illness to make things difficult for her is only fair. I widened my eyes. What? Kane raised his eyebrows. She was so excessive before. Now she's so easily fooled. Why not take advantage of it? Last month at the film festival, she praised all the films very well, except for yours. The story of grievances between me and Lily couldn't be finished in a few days. I saw him getting more and more excited and quickly interrupted. Okay, I know all this, but I also retorted, didn't I? Kane frowned. That's not enough. She targeted you for no reason first. I shrank my neck, intending to confess the truth. Actually, it wasn't for no reason. I tentatively inquired. I dumped her before. Is that considered a reason? Kane's eyes widened in surprise. What? Two voices of surprise sounded at the same time. I turned around and saw Lily holding a bottle of yogurt, her eyes sparkling with tears, staring at me unblinkingly. I immediately felt guilty. Crap, she hasn't remembered, has she? Just when I was about to admit my mistake, Lily suddenly gave a relieved smile. It turns out you really are my husband. Now you're ignoring me just because we're arguing, right? Although I felt it wasn't quite like that, the way she put it made sense in terms of time sequence. It was just that I felt something was wrong. I scratched my head, trying to find the abnormality, but before I could realize it, Kane pinched my thigh. He answered for me. That's right. So you have to apologize to Ethan. Lily immediately understood, her face full of regret. Sorry, husband, I made you angry for so long. I'm really awful. But I hesitated for a long time, unable to say a word. It was really hard to associate the person in front of me with the image of Lily I used to know. The more her eyes reddened, the stranger I felt. Just then, the technical staff had repaired the microphone and returned it to us. I reminded Lily, "Filming is about to start, you can't talk nonsense." She looked at me seriously, obediently nodded, and handed me the box of yogurt. "You ate a lot just now. Drink this for digestion." It was easy to see that she was about to say that I had eaten a bit too much just now, but she realized it was inappropriate, so she stopped in time. I quietly glanced at her and politely said, "Thank you. Thank you." It made me couldn't help but be surprised by her thoughtfulness. Netizens were stunned. Just now. What happened? Why do I feel like Ethan made Lily cry again? I don't know, but she looks very happy now. Maybe she's been bullied into liking it. Lily is really a good person. Even when bullied, she still buys food and drinks for her husband. Such a cute person is really lovable. So, her hatred before was just pretending? Lily, you tricked me so badly. After lunch, the program started to make things difficult for the guests. All the guests drew lots to form two-person groups. Each group randomly drew 3 pictures of wild vegetables. Each group had to go up the mountain within the specified time to find the correct wild vegetables in the pictures. As soon as the rules of the game were announced, netizens burst into laughter. This segment is specially designed for Lily, right? She must have tried digging wild vegetables before. Not to mention anything else. Just defeating Peter to top the brain-damaged love list. Digging wild vegetables must be Lily's forte. I looked worriedly at the piece of paper in front of me. Kane had lived in the mountains for a while. Playing the wild vegetable hunting game would definitely help me get through it easily, but seeing the same blue paper in the hands of both me and Lily, I was shocked. Lily had been a young lady from a wealthy family since childhood, raised in luxury. How could she possibly know any wild vegetables? Kane stood aside and made a gesture to cheer me on. Looking at the cameras around, I had no choice but to lead Lily up the mountain. We drew dandelion, purslane, and amaranth. Although they were all common wild vegetables, searching aimlessly was not easy at all. Lily noticed my tension and said softly, "Ethan, don't worry, I will try my best." I didn't have any hope for her. So, when I saw a dandelion seed floating in the wind, I didn't hesitate and ran after it against the wind. Lily saw me running and also ran after me, quickly surpassing me. It turned out that I was chasing her, and the cameras were chasing us. We ran like crazy and finally caught up. I panted, exhausted. "Lily, can you not run so fast?" She held the dandelion she had just caught and smiled foolishly. "Ethan, we found it." My eyes lit up. Just as I was about to tell her to show off our achievement in front of the camera, I turned my head and didn't see the cameraman. Lily also discovered. "Where are the cameramen?" I was worried. Could he be lost? I ran to the fork in the road and looked back. Because I was in a hurry, I didn't pay attention to the trap under my feet. Before I could scream, I fell into a pit. Lily exclaimed in panic, "Ethan!" Before she finished speaking, she also fell in after me. We looked at each other at the bottom of the pit. Looking at Lily, who was covered in dirt from the fall, I couldn't help but burst out laughing. "Ha ha!" Lily's face was full of soil, and her hair was tangled with some leaves and weeds. She looked really funny. She just looked at me and smiled, then laughed along with me. I touched my head. "I must not be dirty. Why are you laughing?" She still looked naive. "Seeing you smile makes me happy." Although she was still covered in dirt, just saying a few simple words. Even though she had amnesia, I felt my heart beating wildly. I didn't dare to look directly into her eyes. I turned away. "Let's go. Now we've fallen into a pit, and there are no staff members. What should we do?" She raised her head and looked at the pit entrance. The pit entrance was very wide and could hold several people. The pit was also very deep, taller than the two of us combined. She took out her phone. It was unclear whether it was because we ran too far or the pit was too deep. The phone had no signal. We both tried every method, but none were successful. I told her to step on my shoulders to climb up. I tried a few times, but it was still not high enough. We walked around in the pit. "Are we not going to get out of here?" Lily crouched down, picked up a stone from the ground, and started digging holes one by one. Seeing her sweat dripping in large drops, I felt a little guilty. "I didn't mean to urge you." She patted my shoulder. gesturing for me to rest assured. Ethan, the program staff will come to find us. It's just that I don't know when they will find us. She pointed to the small hole she had just dug. If they don't come, we will dig our own way out. I won't let you be trapped here. Looking into her focused eyes, I suddenly no longer worried. Anyway, the mountain wasn't big, and the cameraman also knew the general direction. The program team would definitely come. I winked at her. Then let's rest for a while, okay? She had never refuted my words, and obediently stopped. Okay, everything is up to you. Lily and I sat in the pit, sitting in silence for a long time. Lily pulled up her shirt hem to wipe her sweat. The light was unclear, but her firm abs were clearly visible, along with the sexy shadows. I swallowed. Anyway, there was no one here. Anyway, she was easily fooled. The moment she put down her shirt, I tentatively asked in a low voice, "Can I touch it?" Her body stiffened. "What?" I blinked, pointing to her abs. She slowly turned to look at me, her voice a little hoarse. "Ethan, when dating, I liked listening to you call my name in this voice the most. Because usually at this time." Her muscle memory naturally resurfaced. I couldn't control myself and lifted her shirt. When I came back to my senses, it was still Lily grabbing my wrist. "Ethan, what are you doing?" Only the warmth still lingered on my fingertips. I really missed this feeling. I looked at her. Anyway, she was amnesiac, silly. I took a risk. "You once said I could touch it any time." She was still awake, not letting go of my hand. "Did I say that?" I tilted my head, making things up. "You said I could touch your abs any time, and said I could do whatever I wanted to you." Lily was flustered by me. "Really? Really?" I confidently nodded. "Really?" Seeing her hesitate, I continued to prod. "Don't you want me to forgive you anymore?" Finally, she loosened her grip, gritted her teeth, closed her eyes, and slightly tilted her head. Then don't be too rough, okay?" I quickly replied, "Of course." My hand didn't stop, decisively pulling up her shirt. Lily's abs were really beautiful, not too muscular, looking neat and not too thin, looking weak and just right. I moved my hand from her chest down, feeling the soft skin under my palm. It was truly wonderful. When we were in love, Lily had never been this obedient, letting me do whatever I wanted. While I was comfortably enjoying it, I suddenly heard her hoarse voice. "Ethan, I'm a bit." I was stunned. "Huh? What's wrong?" Her body was slightly trembling, and finally couldn't help but sit up straight, grabbing my hand again, her face unusually flushed. "Ethan, let's touch it again next time, okay?" Looking at her trembling lips, I suddenly realized something, my ears turning red, but still couldn't help but tease her. "You're really cute." Lily lowered her head and remained silent. Not far away, a voice called out, "Lily, Ethan, are you there?" I immediately cheered up and replied, "We're down here." The program team dropped a rope ladder. I easily climbed up. When Lily climbed, one side of the rope ladder suddenly broke, and she fell heavily to the ground, hitting her head hard. We panicked. Lily hugged her head and struggled to sit up. Looking at the pit entrance, then looking at me, she suddenly froze. I shouted worriedly, "Lily, are you okay?" She blankly paused for a few seconds before shaking her head. "I'm okay." I didn't know if I was overthinking it, but when Lily was pulled out of the pit, she looked at me with a slightly strange look. Returning to the base camp, the specified time had run out. We only found dandelions and didn't complete the task, so we had to prepare dinner with another group that also failed. Kane and I looked at each other. "What did you do? Aren't you very familiar with wild plants?" Kane sighed. "Easy to recognize wild vegetables, but we got lost as soon as we entered the mountain." He pulled me aside, his voice full of innuendo. "But you and Lily were out of contact for so long, wasn't it?" I immediately remembered what I had done in the pit and immediately denied. No. How could there be?" He looked at me with a knowing look, then glanced to one side. I followed his gaze and saw Dean discussing dinner ingredients with Lily. They were indeed a match made in heaven. Although I wasn't close enough to hear what they were saying, I just saw Dean smiling brightly, and Lily also looked at him attentively. In my heart, I suddenly felt uncomfortable. Clearly, just now she was still obedient under my guidance, listening to me and gentle, and saying yes to everything I said. Or was it that after losing her memory, she treated everyone the same? An unspeakable sourness welled up in my heart, and the corners of my mouth also drooped. What a beauty, she's just SOSO. Just then, Lily turned her head. Her face, which was originally expressionless, slightly changed when she saw me. She followed my gaze, turned her head, and saw Dean. After thinking for a few seconds, she suddenly smiled. I felt even more annoyed and unconsciously kicked the wash basin away. I'm going to the restroom for a bit. Kane exclaimed in shock. Easy, easy. The commentator was puzzled. What happened? What happened when they lost contact? Why do I feel like Ethan wants to beat Lily up now? I think he seems a bit disoriented. Can this be said? If it were me, I wouldn't be happy either. In the morning, she still called me husband, and in the afternoon, she's already smiling gently at a new guy. Maybe it's the angle of view. From Ethan's perspective, he only sees Dean smiling. But in fact, Lily always keeps an expressionless face. Only when she turns her head and sees Ethan does she give a slight smile. Listen to the soft voice. Why do I feel like that smile of Lily is because she noticed Ethan is unhappy? She's secretly hinting at it, expressing empathy. Kane and I were clumsy in the kitchen, assigned to be assistants. Lily and Dean were still engrossed in discussing the 180 uses of the dish, exchanging ideas enthusiastically. Whether it was really 180 uses or not, I didn't know. Anyway, they just kept talking, and their bodies were almost touching. I was behind, picking vegetables while secretly glancing at them. Just at that moment, my eyes met Lily's. She paused slightly, then smiled. Ethan, are you done? I was about to say, not yet. She continued. Dean said the oil temperature is right. Dean, weren't they just friends yesterday? Wasn't she always keeping a distance? Why were they calling each other so intimately now? I handed the vegetables to Lily. See for yourself. She noticed my unhappiness, but tilted her head and asked, what's wrong? I silently glared at her, then turned away and continued to wash vegetables. With a fleeting glance, I secretly observed her. She seemed to want to call me back to ask, but in the end, she didn't do so, turning around to ask Dean about the dish. I became even more annoyed. Commentator. I see it, I see it. Lily is doing it on purpose. She wants to test if Ethan is jealous. That pretense of turning her back and not paying attention, the acting is too obvious. Laughing to death. Who doesn't understand? Seeing Ethan getting angry, the corners of his mouth are almost twitching. It's just that Ethan hasn't noticed it. Ethan is about to get mad at himself to death already. Until dinner, all the dishes were completed. Lily and I didn't have any eye contact at all. Kane couldn't help but ask me, Ethan, are you jealous? I widened my eyes. Don't talk nonsense. He pouted. If you're jealous, just say it directly. I didn't answer him. Even if I was jealous, I didn't have any status to say anything, let alone any reason to ask Lily to keep a distance from others. During dinner, Lily sat next to me. She took the initiative to pick up the sweet and sour pork ribs that I liked the most for me. Ethan, try this. Although I was still a little unhappy, I realized that I didn't have the right to be jealous. Thank you, I said to Lily, then continued to eat. She picked up several more dishes that I liked one after another. I just politely said, thank you, and didn't say anything more. After dinner, the guests gathered to chat for a while. Then everyone went back to their rooms, ending the filming for the day. Lily called me outside my room. Ethan, why did you ignore me just now? I asked back. Didn't I already say thank you to you? She was stunned. I mean, just now when I was looking for you to talk. I mean during the chat. She hinted at me several times to respond, but I ignored her. I wanted to close the door to work because we weren't close, so I didn't want to talk. It's nothing anymore. I'm going to bed. She suddenly reached out and blocked the door. I was startled and opened the door wider. What are you doing? Her slender, white fingers were pinched red with a mark. She hid her hand behind her back, not letting me see it again. She explained cautiously. I'm afraid you'll close the door and not open it again. I irritably glared at her, but couldn't do anything. She lowered her head weakly and said, Got it. But why did you ignore me? I silently looked at her. Seeing that I didn't speak, she was silent for a long time, then carefully said, Because of Dean, right? In my heart, I became even more uncomfortable. So she knew, completely knew that I was angry. I was about to close the door, but seeing her hand still hidden behind her back, I had no choice but to stop. Why are you still asking me when you know? Getting a definite answer, She breathed a sigh of relief, then sincerely apologized. I'm sorry, Ethan. I looked at her, not understanding what she meant. She continued to explain. I think my feelings for you have been expressed very clearly. I accidentally found out that you seem to be jealous because of me, so I wanted to see if I could make you feel that you have feelings for me or not. If you were sure and accepted it, you could tell me, and we could be together. But you ignored me like that. The more she spoke, the softer her voice became, and finally, it even trembled. I was a little slow to react, but I grasped a key point. So you really did it on purpose? She pursed her lips, her beautiful eyes slightly drooping. Sorry, Ethan, I know I was wrong. I shouldn't have done that on my own initiative. I will never do that again. You want to hit me, scold me, or punish me in any way, it's okay. Her voice was full of sincerity, and in the sincerity, there was also a hint of panic. Just don't ignore me. Clearly, a cold and famous goddess, at this moment, looked weak and helpless. I was amused by her. Looking at her, I suddenly felt like her face was clearly written with "Please torture me, master." Immediately, I had a bad idea. I moved closer to her. Punish you in any way is okay? She nodded seriously, yes. I pulled her collar and dragged her into the room. Without hesitation, I pushed her onto the bed. Then take off a piece of clothing. Lily stared blankly at me, in disbelief. Take off a piece? I nodded. That's right. Not forgetting to make things up. You once said that every time I'm unhappy, you have to take off something for me to see. Lily frowned, about to say something, but in the end, she still asked, Did I say that? I nodded, of course. Lily hesitated for a long time, then looked up at me. Then will you be happy if I do this? I laughed and pinched her cheek. Yes, you will. She looked at me, suddenly determined, her eyes firm. She took off her coat very decisively. No one could understand what a refreshing feeling it was to see a person with a perfect figure lying naked on her side on the bed, raising her head and asking, Is this okay? My psychology was extremely satisfied, and I immediately felt happy. I sat beside her, casually touching her waist and abdomen. Okay, and couldn't help but exclaim, You're really cute. Lily looked at me very deeply, her eyes still a little red. Suddenly, without warning, she flipped over. I only felt the world spin, and my whole body was pressed down by Lily. Hot breath brushed against my neck and shoulders. Lily used her legs to clamp my legs tightly, leaned down, and whispered ambiguously, Ethan, it turns out you like this? I stared blankly at the face close at hand, and in my mind, the image of her picking up food for me at dinner suddenly appeared. No, tonight she picked up all the dishes I liked to eat. Even the order of picking them was according to my level of preference. But she had amnesia. How did she know these things? My pupils instantly dilated. You don't have amnesia. She raised her hand, her finger stroking my forehead. I had amnesia. I frowned. It's not necessary to lie to me at this time. She observed my expression and chuckled softly, adding, But now I remember. Sure enough, I was tightly held in Lily's arms, unable to move. My back was close to the skin on her chest, because she wasn't wearing a top, only separated by a thin layer of fabric. I could even feel the warmth from her body. She took my hand and placed it on her hip, deliberately leaning close to my ear. Ethan, do you like it? My face turned red as if it was about to explode, but I couldn't deny it. I really liked this, but I felt ashamed. I struggled. Lily, let me go first. She lowered her head and took a deep breath of my hair, then obediently let go. Ethan, I'm happy when you're happy, so you can just say directly what you like. I adjusted my hair and glared at her. You remembered and didn't tell me? She looked innocent. I also just remembered. When? When I got out of the pit, I fell. I breathed a sigh of relief. At least when we were at the bottom of the pit, she hadn't remembered yet, but that was already embarrassing enough. I averted my eyes, not daring to look at her. Then consider it me retaliating against you, okay? She narrowed her eyes, moving closer little by little. Retaliation, but I don't want your retaliation. I got annoyed, about to retort, but her eyes were full of affection, making me stop in my tracks. She used one hand to lift my face. I want your love, Ethan. We've reached this point. Why not take another step? I was stunned. I had never thought about taking another step with Lily. Even taking all the advantages was only because I relied on her amnesia. It was as if I had defaulted in my heart that she and I couldn't go further. She moved closer, her voice like coaxing, right? You have me in your heart, and I also have you in my heart. Why can't we? I tried to recall, but you clearly hated me very much. She was helpless. Even after losing my memory, I still like you. Have you seen anyone save the nickname husband for someone they hate? I thought about it. It seemed not. You lost your memory and still liked me, really? She raised her head proudly and replied, Of course. When filming the show, although I didn't know you, as soon as I saw you, I thought you were so handsome. I pouted, So it's love at first sight? She corrected, It's that I have always loved you. But I still felt annoyed. Why did you keep targeting me? Lily hurriedly searched the internet for the first time, finding rumors of our discord. She resolutely said, At first, it was indeed because you praised other people's figures in front of the camera and said mine was not good. I really felt unwilling. Clearly, you used to like touching my waist the most, so I just said a sarcastic sentence. But from then on, I realized that you had me in your eyes. Since breaking up, you haven't even spared a glance for me. But that time you glared at me, I felt very confused. Do you understand? She shook her head, then nodded again. Anyway, it's not a big deal. I thought helping you get a little more attention wouldn't hurt. She explained as she spoke. I even asked my manager for advice. She said this wouldn't affect your reputation, and it's even a very interesting topic. I could only turn black, finally drawing a conclusion. You're crazy. She grasped my hand, helplessly tilting her head. Crazy or not is okay. Anyway, I just want to talk to you. If you don't like me, I will be your enemy. But if you like me... She stopped, not saying the last few words. I deliberately teased. What do you want? She unexpectedly burrowed into my arms and started to act spoiled. I want to be your treasure. Goosebumps erupted all over my body. The next morning, Kane discovered my abnormality. He approached me. Did you meet a girl last night, huh? I was startled. What nonsense are you talking about? He sighed, pointing to my neck and shoulders. Don't tell me it was mosquito bites. I looked in the mirror to check. Sure enough, there was a very obvious hickey. Lily is crazy. I panicked, not speaking, but still trying to stiffen my neck. That's right, it was mosquitoes. Kane touched it with his hand. Annoying. Why is it still flat when I touch it? I pushed his hand away and looked around. Okay, spare me some face, please. I beg you. He was about to pull my hand when Lily walked over from the side. She looked obviously very refreshed, walking past and greeting us, also kindly reminding, Ethan, your microphone is crooked. I was stunned. Kane was also dumbfounded. Both of us said in unison, Oh my God. Both of us argued fiercely, forgetting that the program had already started filming. Online viewers were confused. I was still wondering why they dared to say anything. Turns out they didn't know they were filming, laughing to death. No wonder these two are good friends. Anyway, thanks to Kane, I also discovered that Ethan's neck has a hickey, but I was too embarrassed to ask directly. It's obvious now. Last night, something definitely happened. Look at Lily's face. If it's not a hickey, I'll eat dirt. This is really the speed of adults. I could only gape. Please broadcast more of the nighttime scenes. I didn't see clearly what they did last night. I'm about to explode with curiosity. At this moment, I only felt like I was blindfolded, choked in my throat, unable to sit still. Clearly, last night was just secretly intimate with Lily for a little while, but now it felt like it was broadcast nationwide. Kane quietly turned away. I don't know anything. I didn't ask anything. I'm going first. Lily, still not understanding what was going on, happily waved her hand. See you later. At breakfast, the program team seemed to have realized the hot topic. They made the guests eat while reading online comments, and also randomly screenshotting comments. Each guest had to answer the first question on it. Otherwise, they wouldn't get to eat. Sitting in front of the phone holder, looking at the comments rolling like a runaway train, I thought maybe I didn't even need to eat breakfast. The screen was full of questions about hickeys. No matter how I answered, there would be no good answers. The staff started screenshotting. Ethan, did you kiss Lily last night? On Lily's side. Lily, did you kiss Ethan last night? I helplessly looked up to the sky in front of a dozen cameras and reluctantly squeezed out a smile. What do you guys think? Comments started. Haha, they're happy, and the sadness is left for me. Lily on the other side hesitated for a long time before mumbling. This is hard to say. Viewers burst into laughter. What? Where's the admission? I'd rather he not admit it than this. Haha. Oh my god. They're really a hilarious childish couple, laughing until my stomach hurts. We were waiting for an official announcement. Who would have thought that two people who used to dislike each other could be this intimate behind the camera? Accidentally captured a scene of Ethan's neck. Comment added, really passionate and unrestrained. All day long, I kept thinking about the hickey being discovered. By evening, Lily came to find me again. I want to cry but can't. What to do? It's already been discovered. She was indifferent. Discovered is discovered. We are in a public relationship. It's not like we're secretly cheating. Looking at her confident face, I started to doubt who was the one who was shy in front of the camera in the morning. I tapped her head. Stop acting. She took the opportunity to hold my hand and kissed me again. Although it was true as Lily said that we were in a serious relationship, every time she came to find me in the evening during the month of filming, I still felt like we were sneaking around. Lily was the opposite. She lay on the bed, and I sighed. Ethan, do you know? Every day, I look forward to the evening after filming. I glared at her. Look forward to what? It's not clear what it is. Forget it. She slowly brought up, tomorrow is the last episode. Where shall we go tomorrow night? I was speechless. Don't you have work schedules? She was stunned, as if waking up from a dream. Oh, right. But I'm used to meeting you at night. I pinched her ear. Wake up, you're joining a film crew tomorrow. I'm joining one the day after tomorrow. She resentfully rubbed her ear, then flipped the document to the last page, pointing to the end of the page. Will you miss me? Where is your film crew? Can I transfer to be with you? Or I will visit the film crew. Why are you not saying anything? Don't you miss me? I just felt a headache. Seeing me silent, she directly hugged me. It's okay if you don't miss me, but you must remember to like me. I was amused by her. Okay, I will definitely miss you. We pinky swore under the moonlight, only casting two blurred shadows.